welcome so much back to my channel. My name is Alicia Rose. I run this beautiful, wonderful channel, Alicia Rose, and I am so excited to have you guys back. It has been so long since I've recorded a video. Okay, the last video I did was 6 months ago. It was The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, which I really worked hard on those 4 videos about the books that I was reading for 2020, and that really just failed. All of it just failed. I had a reading goal of 20 books. I actually changed that to be 25 books. I wanted to read all classics this year, and that didn't end up happening. I just decided that I wasn't going to do that, and that was that. I have been keeping up with my Goodreads goal though. I am on 24 out of 25 books, and it is December, so I only need 1 book left. And I have a pretty good idea of what that's going to be. But that is not the point of this video. So the point of this video is I have seen a lot of people on YouTube, and by a lot I mean 2 or 3 people, who tried to solve Agatha Christie novels, and I thought it was pretty cool. I personally liked it, just to let you know. But I will actually link their videos down there because they are absolutely fantastic and wonderful, and it's what inspired this video, so I decided to just go ahead and try it myself. So basically what the challenge is that you have to read an Agatha Christie novel, and within the duration of the novel you have to try to solve it. And then you read the ending and see if you actually got it right or wrong. And that is basically how that works. So I guess you'll see if I've solved it or not by the end of this video. So let's get started. I had finished my 23 out of 25 Goodreads goals books, and I was super excited to do the next one when I saw all of these videos. And I was like, okay, I need a little motivation to do 2 more books by the end of the year. So I decided to do this, and I decided to pick The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. I do not have the book because I read it on my Kindle, but I decided to read The Mousetrap because it's a short play, and I am looking into being able to write plays for myself. So because of that, I thought The Mousetrap would be a really great idea in order to know how to write a play. I got really into doing this, and I just got really into it, and you can tell because I have coined this whiteboard my murder board. And as you can see, there's a lot of information on this, but there's also a lot of information hidden somewhere else. My notebook. This is a notebook that was not used. It's like got a little typewriter, and I think it's really cute. But I hadn't used it before, and I was like, oh, I need a notebook. I need to write things down. So I chose this one. And so here is page 1. Here's page 2, page 3, page 4. I did a lot with this. And so I thought it would be a very good idea to write down all of the information because there was no way I was going to know everything. So because of that, and because it's a play, it doesn't really describe what it doesn't really, you don't see it really, well, because you're not talking about descriptions while you're doing the dialogue. It's just the description at the beginning. So I decided that on my murder board, I was going to draw out the stage. So here's my little drawing of the stage, and we'll get to that in a second. But I really got into it. Okay, so let's start with Act 1. I've got my whiteboard, got a marker. I think it will be beneficial to draw out the stage, so I'm going to do that. I feel like all of these are important because usually if you mention something, then it's gonna happen later. So the fact that there's a radiator and a fireplace and a stool on the stairs, I feel like is important, right? How much is on the stage? There's another chair up right center. There's so many chairs. Agatha, why are there so many chairs? Okay, I think I got the set. You want to see it? Okay, so here is the window with the chair and the radiator and this, or the radiator's over here. You've got the chest right here, the fireplace with the Canterbury, the chair, the stool next to the stairs, all the doors. You've got the table with the lamp, the sofa, the reflective table, the card table, the desk, the bookcase with the radio and the telephone. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. There you go. I drew the set. Oh, Agatha, that was way too hard. I mean, obviously the scene is very well set out, which is great, but I don't like it. Anyways, so before a curtain rises, the house lights fade to a complete blackout, and the music of 3 blind mice is heard. Okay, so clues. We already know 3 blind mice. That is a clue. I don't care what anybody else says, that is a clue. Okay, so Molly and Giles are married to each other, and then her aunt left, Millie's aunt left, and gave her the Monkwell Manor, and she decided to turn it into a guest house. Okay, I bet you anything, she's going to accuse him of the sign, and he's going to say he had nothing to do with it. Because I'm pretty sure, oh crap, what's the lady's name? Mrs. Barlow. I bet you anything Mrs. Barlow is dead. Okay, we're figuring this out. I've connected the dots.
I've connected the 2 dots.
You didn't connect shit, but
I've connected them.
Oh, it's Monkswell. It's Monkswell. Okay. More information. Mrs. Boyle is the front Forceper room. Major Metcalf is the blue room. Miss Casewell is the east room. And Mr. Wren is the oak room. Crap, did I not write down where the oak room is? Oop, I already missed that. Okay, but let's write down everything. Oh my goodness. Okay. The police okay. Molly just picked up a dark overcoat, a light scarf, and a soft felt hat, which Giles has just worn. Oh my goodness, did Giles do it? Hey! It just mentioned Dickens and Scrooge. It's around Christmas time. Look at me go. I picked a story that had Christmas attached to it. I'm putting... This is terrible. I'm putting Mr. Wren like one of my students. I'm writing that on the board. Okay, so Molly, and then you've got Giles. Mr. Wren is crazy, is a good way of putting it. He's very obsessed with furniture, and he's also obsessed with people. So he already really likes Molly because she's already being sympathetic towards him, but he really doesn't like Giles, and because he's acting very coldly towards him, and that's because, you know, Mr. Wren is a little crazy. So we already have a little bit of conflict there. We'll see. It's so weird though that Giles was the overcoat guy though. I feel like that's important. Okay, Miss Calwell just arrived. Ooh, I'm getting tired. I'm not even done. I'm not even done with the first act. Oh. We've met so many people and I'm exhausted. But I think I've filled this up quite nicely. But I'm going to stop that there for tonight because it's getting late and I need to figure out more stuff. Okay, so far we've met Mr. Wren, Mrs. Boyle, and Major Metcalf. Mr. Wren is a very childish type person. sort of ADHD in a way. Mrs. Boyle is very old and proper and snobbish. And then Major Metcalf, we haven't quite met yet, but he seems very polite and proper. So that's where we're gonna end things there. So after I got all of that stuff written down and all of that, I planned on taking a break, as you guys heard, and that didn't exactly work out. I wanted to just keep on going and going and going, and I just really wanted to keep on going because I wanted to be able to solve it. Okay, I'm currently huddled up in my bed because I'm freezing right now, but I just got finished with scene 1, so here's what we know so far. We know of all of the characters. So we have Mrs. Boyle, who is like this snotty woman who's like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. Major Metcalf, who is really nice and charming. Mrs. Casewell, who is maybe a man. So she's very manly and she has a deep voice. She also arrived with a dark coat, a light scarf, and no hat. So from the murder, we know that there was a random person outside the house that we're assuming to be a man who was wearing a long dark coat, a light scarf, and a hat. And so far, the only 2 people who we've seen wear those items are Giles and Mrs. Casewell, except Mrs. Casewell didn't have a hat. So those are 2 suspects that I have so far, and the fact that she has like a manly voice and she acts very much like a man could be why the police assumed that it was a man. We also learned a little bit more about Mrs. Lynn's murder. So we know that she was strangled. Mrs. Casewell supposed that it was a sex maniac. Mr. Wren also was singing a Little Jack horror song. And it said in the script that he's supposed to seem mentally unstable. Giles also said that Mr. Wren's suitcase weighed barely nothing, which it's so suspicious. But I'm sort of leaning towards Miss Casewell. Of course, we just got introduced to the detective who, oh, I think this is hilarious, says he is a slightly taller edition of Hercule Poirot, which may give the wrong impression to the audience. He wears a heavy fur-lined overcoat. He leans on the left side of the arch and puts down a bag. So obviously it's a big cop-out. It's not actually Hercule Poirot. I don't know. I don't speak French. But I just think it's funny. And his name is Paravinci. Which seems Italian. But we obviously know that he's the detective. He obviously didn't do it. So that's good. And that's all we know so far. So we know that Mr. Wren is very suspicious. Giles is very suspicious. And Miss Casewell is very suspicious. But that's all we know so far. So I'm going to get into scene 2. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay. I said that I was going to stop. I didn't. But it's a good thing that I didn't, because a lot has happened. I'm not even done with scene 2 and a lot has happened. Okay, so first off, so Mrs. Boyle seems to know Mr. Wren, and she calls him Sir Christopher Wren, which is not his. There are 2 Sir Christopher Wrens. Not one's Sir Christopher Wren and one's Mr. Christopher Wren. And Sir Christopher Wren built St. Paul's Cathedral, but Christopher Wren did not. He wanted to be an architect. Wren also says he finds policemen attractive, which is interesting. And the major wanted to use the phone. So that's also pretty important. We found out that Mrs. Lyon, which is the lady that died at the beginning, it's not her real name. Mrs. Lyon is not her real name. Instead, it was Stanning. And her her husband was a farmer on the Long Ridge farm. And 3 children who needed protection and care were placed into their home. And it was 2 boys and 1 girl. 1 child died of neglect and ill treatment, and they got sent to prison. So there are 2 children who are still left alive. Also, a notebook was found with an address to the Monkswell Manor, which means that the murderer is one of these people. Now the question is who? I don't know, but I'm interested in finding out. Okay, one more thing before I go. So it can't be Major. So Major, oh crap, what's his name? Metcalf. He was stationed in Edinburgh at the time, which means he's older, which means that he is not the boy. Leslie Casewell, she had never heard of the case, which is interesting. But Christopher Wren said he was a mere child at the time. Oh, he is definitely the boy. He's definitely the boy. He's definitely the boy. I know it. Okay, I know I'm doing one more theory. I'm becoming obsessed with this. I really am becoming obsessed. I just want to, I want to get it right. So because of that, I'm just digging my claws into it. But I have another theory. So Christopher Wren is definitely the boy. I mean, think about it. So there is another Christopher Wren who did St. Paul's Cathedral. I bet you anything that Christopher Wren, when he was a boy, decided to change his name to that Christopher Wren. And because of that, there are 2 Christopher Wrens. So I know for a fact that Christopher Wren has to be the boy. But who is the girl? I think it's Millie. I think Millie is the girl. I mean, that would be such like a big brain move to take one of like the main characters. So her aunt gave her the house. Her aunt gave her the house. That has to be connected. Millie is the girl and Wren is the boy. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking Giles might have something to do with it. Or maybe Miss Caseway is the girl, but she said she had never heard of the case. She never said she was a child at the time. Oh, this is difficult. Every single time I think I have a theory, my brain just thinks of all the different ways that it can't be that. I mean, Wren is definitely the boy, though. It makes so much sense. So they said the boy was schizophrenic, a little queer in the head. And the boy, and Wren is the same way. So the boy is schizophrenic, and Wren is sort of the same way. And he seems a bit murderish, if we're being so honest. He seems a bit murderish. I mean, he's literally whistling. But then I started getting paranoid. I swear this is like the last time I'm going to give a theory. But Molly and Miss Casewell are talking to each other. What if Miss Casewell is the boy? What if Miss Casewell is the boy? Because here we're talking about childhood, and Miss Casewell says she didn't have a good childhood. What if Miss Casewell is the boy? Because Mr. Wren would be a red herring. Of course, Molly might be the girl, and Miss Casewell might be the boy. Okay, I think it's Miss Casewell. I think Miss Casewell and Molly are a brother and sister. Okay, I'm about done for today. I just finished Act 1. I have reread Act 1 probably 3 times now. Because every single time I get to the end of Act 1, I'm like, oh crap, there's a question. I also figured out that the upper doorway connects to the lower doorway on the right, and the upper doorway on the left connects to the lower doorway on the left. Did not know that. Because when I was like, oh, they came through the open doorway, which is the lower right. So because of that, it has to be somebody who went into that room. But then the sergeant literally did a tour of the house and found out that the upper right and the lower right are connected. So you can go through the dining room and come out the upper archway. So I then had to track everybody's movements. I think I know. I think I know. So I honestly believe Miss Casewell is the oldest brother. I think Millie is the young girl. And I think Miss Casewell murdered Mrs. Boyle because she was a magistrate, or the judge that sent them to the house in the first place. Because Millie specifically said that she did not have a good childhood. And Miss Casewell also said that she didn't have a good childhood. But Millie forgot. And Miss Casewell said that she's lucky. They also had a huge conversation about psychology and whether you should let go of the past. And Millie said that you should let go of the past, but Miss Casewell said, no, you shouldn't let go of the past. I think Miss Casewell was angry at what happened. So she, or he, one of the two, killed the farmer's wife and planned on killing Mrs. Boyle because she was the one who let them go into that household in the first place. The major has something to do with it, but I'm not sure quite what. And then Ren, I think, is just a red herring. I don't know. That's my theory right now. It may change. I am pretty sure that that is what is going on. Miss Casewell is the older brother. Millie is the younger girl. And Miss Casewell murdered Mrs. Boyle. Unless it was Millie who murdered Mrs. Boyle and then was planning on taking a bus to get out of town. But we'll see. Tonight I'm done. I mean, look at this. I literally tracked the movements. So here's the staircase. Here's the window. Oh, and by the way, I switched to a journal because it was easier. Here's the archway. And you have the two connected here and the two connected here. So and the murder came out of this door. Miss Casewell came through this door. And then the major came out this door. Ren came out this door. And then Millie came out this door. Mrs. Boyle came in from the left. And then somebody from this side started whistling Three Blind Mice, walked in, or turned off the lights, then walked in, murdered Mrs. Boyle, and then Millie came in here and saw her dead. So I don't think Millie killed her because she was the one who found her. I think it was Miss Casewell because Millie just found her. She didn't murder her, she just found her. So Miss Casewell has to be the one who murdered her because she was the one. I honestly believe she's the brother. I don't believe Ren's the brother. I think Miss Casewell's the brother. I think Ren's a red herring. Okay, so Mrs. Boyle says, with relief, oh, it's you. I can't find any program worth listening to. Oh, it's you. Maybe it's the major. But the major said that maybe the major was the major over the boy, which is Miss Casewell. Or maybe it's Ren. Oh, I think I need to reread Act 1. I want to look more deeply into when they are introduced to each other. Oh my goodness, I think I'm getting paranoid. I'm literally looking at things in every single direction. I need to focus on the facts. What are the facts? The facts are Mrs. Casewell also had the coat. I don't know. Oh my goodness, my hair. This is a great angle. I don't know anymore. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. But hopefully I can figure it out. It has to be Mrs. Casewell, though. I can't stop thinking that it's Mrs. Casewell. It's just... My brain is telling me it's Mrs. Casewell. You know? You know? You know when that feeling happens to you? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. So I decided to go to bed. It was 10 o'clock at night. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was excited. I was still trying to figure out who did it, even though I was about to go to sleep. Like, I was just very intense into this. And by the end of all of it, I just really wanted to figure out who did it. I wanted to see if I was right. But then I had an epiphany. So Millie's definitely the girl, Wren's definitely the boy. Major Metcalf might have done it. Or maybe Miss Caseway is the father. Oh my goodness, Miss Caseway is the... Okay, so Trotter said that Miss Caseway was too old to be the oldest boy, but she's not too old to be the father. They didn't consider that. They didn't consider that she could have been the father, because they said that maybe mental stability or instability runs in the family. So maybe she is the father and he is the son, and... Because I'm like so sure that Miss Caseway is oh my goodness, it's Miss Caseway. It's Miss Caseway. I'm pretty sure Miss Caseway is the father.
You are the father.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm pretty sure Miss Caseway is the father. Or Casewell. I don't know why I've been saying Caseway. Casewell is father, question mark. And then came the time to find out who did it. I'm sorry, what? There was no way I could have figured that out. There was no way I could have figured that out. There was no way I could have figured that out. There is absolutely no way I could have figured that out. Oh my goodness, it's almost time for me to go to school. So basically, Trotter, the policeman, was the older brother. Miss Casewell was the sister. Major Metcalf was a policeman. Paravinci was a thief. And Giles and Millie were both getting anniversary presents for each other in London. Okay, there's no way I could have assumed that Trotter was the brother. I mean, yeah, he was twirling his hair, but what was it? He literally was following outside into the window, he jumped out, and then he suddenly came through the open door. And there was no way I could have known that she was a teacher. There was absolutely no way I could have known that she was a teacher. I mean, sure, yes, I assumed that he was a policeman. I assumed a lot of things, like the fact that he actually was trying to figure out who did it. Oh my goodness, there were so many things. The fact that he was trying to pit them against each other. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that whatsoever. There was no way I could have figured that out. Even Major Metcalf didn't figure it out. It was only when Miss Casewell went to him and said, hey, that's my brother, he's gonna kill somebody. That's when that happened. I have never been so angry before in my life. I worked so hard. I made a murder board. I wrote it all down in my journal and nothing happened. Oh, I thought my theory was so correct. I'm still very, very angry at it. So angry because I thought my theory was airtight. It was airtight. Nothing could have gotten into that theory. And then Agatha Christie had to go and ruin everything. Like she does. It was almost like studying for a really hard test and then just failing it, even though you thought you had it in the bag. Like, it was terrible. And I was talking about it for days and days and days on end. I went to my mom and I was like, you cannot believe what just happened. I failed. And then I went to my dad and I'm like, you cannot believe what happened. I failed. And then I went to my sister and I said, you won't believe what happened. And she said, you failed? And I'm like, yeah, I failed. And she's like, yeah, I've tried that before. I failed too. And then I went to my students and I was like, I failed. And I was so upset. I'm not even lying here. I was so upset. I'm still very, 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 very upset. I just wanted to figure out so badly. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen, and I was so upset. So, all in all, in conclusion, I had a really fun time doing this. Like, even though I failed, and even though I was so upset, and still very, very, very much is upset, I had so much fun. And if I would do this again, I would definitely do this again. I would 100% recommend doing this, because even if you don't get it right, it's super fun trying to figure it out. I just don't think I would do another Agatha Christie, because I know for a fact that she doesn't give you anything until the end, and I don't trust her anymore. I don't trust Agatha Christie. I don't. Nope, she lied to me. I don't trust her anymore. She's dead to me. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I had so much fun. So comment down below if you have ever solved an Agatha Christie novel, because I want to hear about it. Because if you have solved an Agatha Christie novel, I am definitely going to try again, because I will solve it. If I know it's possible, I will go ahead and solve it. I will do it. And I will do it for all of you. I will do it for the views. I want to get it right one of these days. I really wanted to get it right. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I said like and subscribe, didn't I? I don't know. I'm still very angry. It's all in my head. It's the only thing that's going through my head right now is I really wanted to get it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.